Hello everyone, welcome to StraightA. Dawson here, back with another video here today, and I almost forgot the UFL existed, to be honest with you. We're going over the UFL Week 10 and then going into the playoffs and kind of making some predictions, making some scores, seeing what we're going to go for. So this will be a quicker video, so I'm going to try to draw it out so we can get to the 6-minute mark, because that's how I go. Beside the point. Either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you do, please leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and comment any suggestions for future videos below. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. So as you see, again, if you're following the videos, I'm still on the floor. Chairs here, tables built, everything is ready. I just gotta stop being lazy and actually put it all to. I've been, hiking, man, in Montana. If you're ever in the West and you don't live in the West, go hiking. Everybody in the West already knows how great the West is, but still, go hiking, go do some cool stuff. I love it out here already. So hopefully we'll be done here soon, but I'm finally starting to get comfy on the ground, to be honest with you. Got my Panera bread here. I need to start making food. I'm starting to, money gets really tight real quick. Beside the point, I almost forgot the UFL existed, so I had to do like a quick, the real reason why this video is really going out late, it's got to go back and look at the highlights. I had to speed them up this time. So really didn't get the full grasp of it all, but really at this point, these games don't really matter. But they still played them, and most of the teams played fine, whatever. Seemed like there was a couple good ones, so we'll go right into it. First with the Panthers at the Stallions, and interesting thing about this is I didn't realize that immediately they're going into their next game. So, of course, Stallions faced off against the Panthers before, and I believe Stallions beat them, so they've swept them so far. And the Panthers are going back to the Stallions to face them. So back-to-back weeks, the Panthers will be facing the Stallions. And I don't think, I guess they did care about this game. It seemed like, at least. Oh, excuse me. It seemed like they care about the game. They didn't play very well. There wasn't really many consistent plays. There was just good and long plays, I guess. It feels like they were extending plays. Freaking Marble from CJ Marble from the Stallions is doing really well. But there's a couple big run plays from the Panthers. So it was like a big smorgasbord of back and forth football, which is fine. It was cool strategically, but otherwise, going over all this again. Look, very few people who actually got the yardage didn't go very far, including the quarterback who got a really long. Well, I guess I shouldn't say really long, because 20 yards. While the Stallions rushing, of course, was led by CJ Marble, but even Adrian Martinez got a couple good rushes in. So really weird game in that front. So it was really quarterback driven, even though the quarterbacks didn't do all too well in the passing game. Then in terms of tackles and sacks and all that good stuff, Panthers actually did pretty good, and Stallions did not do as well. Normally their defense is really a lot better than that, but they just did not show up today. So the Panthers really did well. Again, I'm not too sure how many of these people were starters and all that good stuff. I'm pretty sure, again, they still cared about this game. So, oh well. Going into this, San Antonio Brahmas versus the Battlehawks. Again, another interesting game here because it was directly leading into the playoffs. I can't believe the UFL managed to schedule the last 2 games for the regular season for the 4 playoff teams against each other. It's kind of crazy. So, whatever. I guess the odds aren't that high, or aren't that low because of all the stuff, but whatever. Either way, again, both these teams did not perform very well, especially from the Battlehawks. Battlehawks looked awful this game. Aside from the rushing. The rushing games from these teams is either really good or really shit, to really be honest with you. There's not really much in the middle. I guess the Brahmas did have kind of a middle range game, but either way, rushing game from the Battlehawks is what really carried them to this victory, but defenses were also really crucial, especially Kirkland, by the way, doing really good. Not even that many long targets. He got 7 receptions for 127 yards and only the long of 37. So Brahmas actually had some pretty damn good momentum here, and the Battlehawks might have to watch out for the Brahmas here. I'm not gonna lie to you. Again, looking at the defensive side of things, the numbers don't say too much. The 2 sacks and then 4 tackles for loss and 3 and 7. They don't say too much there, but they were just battering each other. No time. It was just really good defensive football. It wasn't very interesting, mind you, but take it as you will. Then we're going into the Renegades versus DC Defenders. So luckily with these last other 2 games, nobody really cared, so they just kind of played what they could and played some really extremely good football. Actually, this is probably a contender for one of the best games of the year. Even though I sped through it, I actually did slow it down, kind of rewatch some plays, because there were some awesome reception plays here made, and some really just consistently good football, especially from the Renegades doing really good overall. They were really on and off with this quarterback play, but the running game was really good. There's some exciting long receptions from both teams, mostly in the 30-plus zones, but they didn't get anything 50 or 60. But there's a lot of exciting, exhilarating plays from both these teams. These two defenders looked really good, probably looked one of the best they have all season. Same with the Renegades. The Renegades looked really, really good, ready for the ball. And the defenses were relevant, but they weren't that relevant, especially on the what's called DC Defender side. They had a good defense, but they didn't really show up very well. Renegades actually did really good in terms of defensive ball. So Renegades eventually won, I think, due to their defense. But man, both these teams did look good. They both had a really electric game, and actually I would recommend watching this. If I did ever rank all the games I've watched this season, or at least the highlights of them all, this would probably be easy top 5, because both these teams really didn't care going into it. Boom, bada bing, balls to the walls. Then we got the Roughnecks versus the Showboats. Showboats got their victory finally. I think that's their second win of the season. Congratulations, Showboats. That's my Showboats. I love y'all. No pun intended with Josh Love there, of course. But both these teams did fine. I think this is another run-of-the-mill UFL game. If you want a pretty much run-of-the-mill UFL game, more on the lower end, maybe like slightly lower than the average, this is probably a good game to go to. The run games did fine. The quarterbacks did and then the receiving was just kind of all over the place, with maybe one person slightly leading the pack by a long shot. So as you see, here's all the good stuff on the board. Meanwhile, defensive side of the ball, again, pretty typical numbers. Showboats did have a little bit more tackles for loss, but Roughnecks didn't do very well. So I did predict the Showboats to win, and actually on screen now, we'll go ahead and put my winning total here of how much I won. I actually don't know right now sitting here. I don't know what my predictions were doing well. Actually, you know what? I'll probably cut to it when we go to our playoffs, and I'll kind of react to it. But on screen now is what kind of my record is. But for now, let's get right into our predictions of the Panthers at Stallions and Brahmas at Battlehawks. Alright, there really isn't much to show you in terms of who's going to, like any stats leading up to it. They really don't do any breakdowns of all these games here for either one of the USFL or the XFL game. So we'll just kind of talk a little bit about it and kind of wrap our mind. First of all, 27-13, about 67.5% hit rate. I feel pretty good about that. That's pretty good for the season. I feel like I got the groove of it, especially by the end of it, so maybe I'm more of a UFL expert. Beside the point. Kind of going into this first one, USFL, Panthers versus Stallions. I'm just going to say I think the Stallions are still going to win. However, there is a part of me that really feels like the Panthers have been playing consistent ball, and the Stallions have gotten gradually, slowly, very, very minutely worse. Not to say they're bad. I think the Stallions are a very, very good team, but I think they might just be in winnable range in terms of Panthers might be able to upset the Stallions. I'm not too sure. I still think the Stallions are come in full force and show everybody why they're one of the best teams in the in the XFL, UFL in general. You know what I mean. So my score prediction for this will be a good solid 26-21. 26-21, 26-22, something along those lines, about mid to early 20s. I think this will be a slightly high scoring game, but not like anything too outrageous, So especially with the Stallions being at home for the Stallions, I feel like, granted, I don't know how much that really matters except for travel. I'll go with the Stallions just because I think they're the better team, but the Panthers could upset here. I would not be surprised by that. Meanwhile, we do have the XFL conference, the Brahmas and the Battlehawks. And man, if you asked me about 2 weeks ago, easily Battlehawks, easily. I think the Brahmas got their number. I think the Brahmas are going to upset the Battlehawks. That is my official prediction for this. I think the Brahmas will score 22-17, 22-18, something along those lines. I think the Brahmas are just damn good. I think they just lit a spark under their ass. They're just becoming a really good team. Battlehawks are still very consistently good, but they also have some low points here. I think the Battlehawks could easily go and face off against the Stallions. I think that'd be an easy story to write. But I think the Brahmas, I'm giving the Brahmas the edge here. They've gradually been building up their team and being more consistent throughout the whole season. And so I'm going to look for the Brahmas to be the victor here for the XFL, meaning I have the Stallions at the Brahmas, Stallions Brahmas. And I think the Brahmas might win it all. I'm going to give my take is the Brahmas are going to be the first ever UFL champion. And I think it's just also on the cake because The Rock is the owner of this company. Is that a coincidence? Who knows? Brahma Bull, hands up there. I'm calling it here. Brahma's taking it all. I probably won't do a video next week. I don't know. I may join it with something else. I'm not too sure how I'm going to do that just yet. Either way, though, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And comment any suggestions for future videos below. I will see you all later. Peace.